Test. Hello, hello, hello. All right, I think you may be able to hear me now. It looks like I see some movement. Although it's not going to the processor. All right. It may have gotten completely messed up now because I just got an update on it. It is coming through now. It's got all kinds of stuff popping up right now. All right, so this is back up again. That should be working. That's there. Not sure why the headset thing is moving. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why there's a headset thing, but there's obviously no sound coming through because I don't have it responding back to me. It should be better now. I switched it back over to the one that it should be on, Debbie. So I know there's a delay. Yeah. No. It's called Kip, is what it is. It's not old age, it's called Kip. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, so if it's doable, you can hear me. It looks like you can. I can't. Obviously, I can't hear it while I'm talking because it's a pain. Anyway, so yeah, looking at the 24-hour markets, the 24-hour pip chains doesn't really give us a good. I don't know how to say this. Doesn't really give us a good picture of what's happened in the last 24 hours. So more or less, we did have a flash crash in the pound, and it's kind of retraced all the way back again because of kind of some banter back and forth. Like if you look at this right now, you're like, wow, look at all the pound strength right now, right? Pound dollar up 75, euro pound 65, pound yen 157. But the reality is, this is kind of what we dealt with in the last 24 hours, right? Now, again, huge drop, and now we're obviously back above where we were. And there's people, I guess, the futures market's obviously different. Jack was like, oh, look, it's under $1 for the first time ever. It's like, no, it was at 103, not under $1. Maybe futures went there, but that's not really what the actual numbers are. So, yeah, so obviously a big drop. There's a lot going back and forth. And some interesting kind of context to take with this, right? So, again, the BOE and it's the new administration over there is not playing well. Debbie said she could hear me, Ernest. Maybe it's an Ernest age problem. Right? Maybe. I don't know. I can see it. It looks like it's moving. Debbie said there's a weird echo with it. I don't know. But there's like an echo. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to mess with it later. There shouldn't be an echo though. Like I said, I have different every time they update OBS, it's weird. There. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, whenever they see, this is what drives me nuts. Like I should stop doing it. Every time they're like, oh, there's a new update to make it more streamlined, but it's not more streamlined. Like they move some stuff around, but it doesn't really change much. But it resets a lot of the audio settings. Like you set all the custom settings, and then when they update it, it's like, wow, we've moved this and we've made this better. It's like, no, you made the text different, and you move this from this side to that side, but it's no different, right? I snuck in and turned the echo effects on. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. You sound like you're in the Bin Laden vault. Wasn't that like a hole in the ground? So anyway, this is a statement that we got earlier today. We already knew that the UK, they got all kinds of problems already, and things were only kind of getting worse. And then obviously Boris is like, I'm out. And again, perfect exit on Boris's fault. And yeah, look at some of these things, right? Obviously, the pound had fallen to historic lows, right? They're trying to keep things under control. They're testing a new scenario for banks. The scenario includes UK. And again, if they're including the scenario, that means that it could potentially happen. I think it's probably worst case scenario, but again, they're testing a new scenario, to examine their resilience. It's probably worst case scenario. If we come in at half of worst case scenario, right? That's kind of where we're at right now. So it definitely could get worse. But basically saying that the UK falling, right? Unemployment more than doubling to 8.5. Residential properties falling 31% over the first year, and peak inflation being 17%. Whew. I mean, they're at 10 right now. So it's not like 17 is that far away. And because of what we're seeing it, and it's not this one. It's this one. No, there's one that had a great comment. I don't say it right now. Basically, it was a great comment talking about kind of the banter going back and forth. And you'll see a ton of articles today all about it, right? People don't like the policy, right? Unpalatable policy options. There's one. Where's the other one? Here's a zero hedge one talking about the drop. Again, number of different great little great pieces with it. Piggyback that on to this one right here, that EU countries plan to delay the Russian oil price cap amid divisions. Funny enough, this was all the latest rage, right? We're gonna cap it. As I was dropping the boys off today, very interesting discussion over the fact that we still really don't know what price cap means. Are they capping it at the pump? Are they capping the incentives on it? I mean, they're still going to have to buy it, right? And what they were saying is, there are policies that they could put in which would diminish the demand at the pump, right? People will start looking at alternative methods. The other option is maybe they'll just write checks to, the people that are most in need, kind of like what the stimulus checks look like. And again, that's definitely a viable option. Right? You just, if you're, where depending on where you are on the economic ladder, you'll receive a check, and that is your energy stimulus, right? Or your energy price cap, because you're not paying over that because we are, sending you a check, and that's what it'll cost you. But that doesn't actually, that basically keeps the prices inflated, and it doesn't really put necessarily a cap on there, and it doesn't decrease demand. And again, oil is a 100% demand-driven market. We are seeing a little bit of I would say a little bit of a price holiday right now, a demand holiday. Saudi Arabia is kind of getting back to their peak as far as where they produce. They're getting to where the production was supposed to be. So again, they're doing their part. But right now, that's not why prices are really dropping. The reason why prices are dropping right now is pretty much solely on China right now, with their lockdown and the destruction that they kind of have in demand right there. That's a lot. It's more than most people are giving it credit for, right? We know that so far in the EU right now, they've been good on so far if it's a normal winter. That's also adding to this as well. So again, it's funny that they're going to do a hardline stance about we're not going to do this and we're going to do this. And then like, well, wait a second, maybe we should, be a little softer with it. So funny how they keep going back and forth and doing that. But so far, I think the natural gas aspect has been they've been doing well with kind of stockpiling things. Now, today, obviously, the EU data not great. It was already expected to be lower, but came in even a little bit lower, the business climate. And again, we know Germany's had their own problems. Their services and their manufacturing PMI were kind of crappy. Lagarde speaking, and then we have Messer speaking later on today. Messer speaking at a monetary outlook. So we may get some gems from Messer. It is end of day, so it probably won't have too much effect on the markets. Going into tomorrow, there we go. It's like, God, it's not working. Powell speaking first thing at 7 a.m. And I think it's a very interesting conference. Powell is not necessarily the digital currency person. That's Boza Bernard. But again, speaking in a panel discussion about digital currencies. Now, what I was trying to find with the EU or with the BOE, it was one of these, and it was a comment down here basically talking about the Great Reset, talking about everything that is happening. So I think there's a lot of credence to that. Again, people are kind of using that as when we switch over the digital that there's going to be this big Great Reset. And I think there's a lot of I think there's a lot, I think that theory holds some water. So I think that's something to watch out for. So, it could be interesting to hear what Powell has to say. And again, we have durable good orders tomorrow. Expected both to be good. And again, already with that positive expectation, kind of leading us into that we're going to raise interest rates again. And again, remember, one of the driving factors, we've had all these factors that have driven inflation higher, but the Fed said the main reason why it's continuing to go higher now, because, we don't really have COVID lockdowns, right? Supply chain is not a huge deal, right? We hear the excuse, but we don't, you're not seeing it as much. I guess certain areas are, but not like we were before. It's the demand for jobs, right? We gave free money out everywhere. Everybody exploded. There's 11 million jobs, but only 5 million people will to work, right? They said that demand destruction needed to come back down, and that's what's driving it even more and more and more. And the question is, how far would they have to kind of drive us and make the conditions bad to finally get rid of that, job, demand there, right? Well, durable goods. So these things both come in a positive nature. Again, throwing back, that's another log on the fire of let's do another 0.75. We have Bullard speaking. Again, we'll see what Bullard has to say. It's, 9:55. Again, at the International Monetary Policy Forum. So, yeah, he's going to probably come in strong, swinging a big stick. Can't wait to see that. And then again, consumer confidence expected to be high, right? New home sales continue to deteriorate. Right, continuing to get lower. Expectation. I actually wouldn't be surprised if this comes in at like a 3.8 or 480. Everybody knows that it's getting worse. Manufacturing kind of trending down. Home sales ugly across the board as they keep raising interest rates. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. Consumer confidence getting better because again the economy is doing well. People are getting paid, right? But again, to what end? As homes start crashing, it could be hard. So. Again, some interesting data tomorrow morning that we should have a play back and forth. But right now, all the talk is about the pound, what the BOE is going to do, how much more they're going to continue raising. And again, all that talk about, hey, listen, you got to do more. You got to do more. We already know they're in a recession. But at the same time, we already know that they need to raise more, right? Because they did the slow and steady, and the slow and steady didn't work. They continue to raise. Not that anybody's really done the big, the front loading thing. They don't quite understand the front loading, but yeah, so there's some movement here, and again, in reality, again, this is a lot of speeches. The UK is going to get worse before it gets better, right? So there may be some opportunity after this is peaked down again to kind of find a nice pullback point and maybe some shorts in the pound. But you can see besides that, euro dollar totally flat, Aussie dollar totally flat, dollar CAD 27, it's nothing, dollar yen 51, it's all right, dollar Swiss. It's retracing right now. It's up 48. That one's actually had a lot of movement in it. So, but yeah, overall, again, pound yen is the biggest mover, and all the stories talk about how the pound is imploding. Oh my God, the pound's dying, and yet magically it's up 145 today. So, yeah, that's where we go with it. All right, looking at charts. Let's go across and let's start off with VIX. So, VIX had a big crash on Friday, and we mentioned that this is definitely possible, right? We knew we had Powell speaking late. We were expecting Powell to say something that was good. It was like kind of like, we're here for you. It was all about, protecting the consumer. And that's exactly what happened. Powell spoke and like the VIX just went straight down, leading to kind of, I would say somewhat predictable, right? Again, if you were trading that late on Friday, it's your own personal choice. And again, when I say trading on Friday, obviously trading indices on Friday is just fine, right? Because the market, you don't have that foreign exposure, right? But currencies at that point are, the volatility is drying, not the volatility, but the volume is drying up. There's no other countries in. It's kind of like the tail end of it. So it's, after 12 is kind of like, it's kind of iffy, right? But that's why we get Sunday night. We can trade. Today, you're seeing it also come back down again. And I wouldn't say there's any major news out there today that is U.S. based. Messer speaking, but it's so late in the day, and obviously the world didn't end over the weekend. The pound, the island didn't sink. So again, we're starting to see the VIX come down again, and because of it, we're seeing all the indices slightly in the green, as they kind of should be. Last week's shocks are already in, right? We are, and if you look at it, actually, look at some of the larger time frames, like the 4 hours and the dailies. We're actually sitting in demand zones right now for a lot of the indices. So, is this the bottom? No, I don't think so. Excuse me. I think we definitely got another 0.75 raise in us at least. Whether a 0.75 and then a pause or 250s in a row. So I definitely think we're going higher. All the everything out there is justifying it. So again, I think this is a temporary pause. But I think it's nice to have a green day in there. And again, we got some movement in there. Now the dollar again, yesterday, huge pop forward. Again, part of this is actually not the dollar. So seeing this spike here, a lot of people look at this like, wait, what the heck happened? Why, what happened was because of kind of the pound imploding, and again, that administration, the new administration and the BOE are not quite seeing eye to eye on everything. And some interesting comments about how, if Bailey wants to be vindictive, Bailey can be vindictive. Like, that's not beyond him. I guess that's not an uncommon thing in the UK. Like, people are okay with that. But anyway, dollar's an interesting spot. We had a nice push up again, a parabolic move. We've retraced back down again exactly where we should have, and we've taken 2 bounces off of it. But looking at this right now, I mean, it's very easy. You're seeing lower highs. You're seeing kind of stabilization right here. When we talk about this on other charts, when we have that level of basing, we start smashing into it, you're starting to look for a short and a fall back down again. So actually wouldn't be surprised if the dollar does remain a little bit weaker today, again, as we take a little bit of a pause before the next round of raises come in. And I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of push back down into this 112 area. So again, it's strange to talk about dollar weakness, but at some point you do have to take some profit. And again, you want to pull back. If you want to buy it, you want to get it on sale. You don't want to buy it when it's the most expensive it's ever been. So again, it is coming up to kind of a technical short here if we were able to break through this 113 number. And we're at 113.26 right now. Going across the Aussie dollar. So we had the little Harry Potter trade, and this came in last week, so it's out now and it's done. We talked about profit targets being down at 65.25, and you can see we hit it and then just chop back and forth basing, and we're kind of stuck in that level right now. We can readjust a lot of these fib targets, and funny enough that was the broken one that we used the Harry Potter for before, and that happens to also be where the 23 is right now. So we'll leave that there. We'll remove the yellow to clean it. We don't need the open there. That is still good. This target has now been hit. Let's see. Where's the origin of this? Can we see it on this one? No. Can we see it on a 2-hour origin? Yes, we can. So, here you go. This is what we're looking for. So, next major level, probably down in here. All right. 1, 2... Yeah, we're through. 3, 4. All right, so this is the next area down below that we really have any decent buying coming in. So I would say that this one has some more room to run. And again, not surprising, right? Right now, if this is the bottom, and you can see this is a 2-hour, so we can go back to a 30-minute. You can see we're finding buyers in here. It's hitting them and hitting again, hitting again, hitting again. If this is the true bottom, that's a great spot. This is actually it's actually an old violated level that we came up with. A nice push out of it. But we're also getting some help right now because it just happens to be bisected by a 23.6. So, gotta love when that's there. I mean, it's already been confirmed. It's already been a trade. It's already gone to full profit. But a nice push off, right? And happens to coincide with a higher time frame, high to low 23.6. So we love that. Supply zone confirmed. Previous trade, old violated zone, and a 23.6. Gotta love when we stack the odds in our favor that way. So that's something along the lines of here. And again, if it's not the bottom, that'll move, and then obviously that changes the idea of it a little bit. But that's kind of what we're looking for right there. Something along those lines. Now, if it continues to push back down again, I do think that we look for some type of a bounce coming off this 64.25. Right, 64.25. It's been a while since it's been there, but it was a decent level like the formation, and we know that we're kind of in that racetrack right now. So when we're clearing all the buyers out of here, we should be able to find something and find a new level a little bit lower. They will be exhausted on the way down. So 2 different trades in there, 65.72, 64.25. Aussie yen. There's Aussie yen, and again, we really chopped through that zone. And again, I love this one. You can pull this off from late last week. Again, this one kind of just died on us at the end of the week. Right now, we'll bring this down, and kind of the same thinking. That zone is still good. I'm going to shrink that back. Really, it's more of a zone here, right? That was a profit target on the long side. I think we got to watch out for that right there. Again, nice little base, and we've touched it, and it took off. So I think 94.13.4 is where we're going to watch out for. Actually, I'll just drag this back up again. We'll pull that right back up there. 16. Hmm. Still like this. The one thing I hate about this big bursty area is these two things kind of turn, but they actually have the same bottom, so not as concerning. Let's set this one up for a short. Right there. Right, plenty of room. And that is a break of 93.20. Okay. So, two potential areas for shorts for us again. And again, right now with the indices positive, you're seeing that's obviously giving some yen weakness in there. So, again, nice little push here. It's a tested level. It is slightly above the 23. Typically, we like it when it's kind of like slicing through the level. So it's kind of an area where if 23ers step in and get stopped out, we'd be the area where they're getting stopped out. Is kind of what it kind of that's where we'd be in, right? If that makes sense. I don't really like much else on that one. It's okay. It's okay. So those would be the two levels for that. I like the Aussie one better. Euro dollar. So euro dollar continuing to rally down. So interesting spot that we're in right now. We're getting close to that 10:30 time frame. It's 10 o'clock now. If we remove fibs on this one, you could say, hey, listen, there was a base there. There's a pullback. So if I remove fibs, it'd be like, hey, that's a standard zone anyway, right? That's a decent level. I like how the wicks are lower, 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 lower. It kind of bounced through, hit it, and then boom, tanked off it very quickly. And it's been front run. But if you throw this on here as well, you can see that, wait a second, its proximal side is also the 23.6. So it's kind of like, look at that. Could there be a short? And again, this is kind of dollar weakness coming in, which we are seeing. But if this turns and rolls, and again, remember, dollar weakness, this is late last night. Well, this was dollar strength down, and now it's dollar weakness, dollar weakness, dollar weakness, dollar weakness. Once we kind of come back to that dollar strength aspect, which we will, we're in a better position than the EU. This turns and rolls back down. So two spots. I think this is a decent short from 97.03 right there. And again, we should get some technical help on that one as well. And looking at that for that push down to 95.50. Right, 95.50 is the bottom. I got asked, and I saw the note late. People were asking about, where do I think the bottom of the euro is? The answer is I really don't know yet. I don't necessarily have an opinion on it. I think that we are going to continue to raise, and again, our job scenario is it's one. These are one of the perks of the United States and having an economy as big as it is. We don't have the same issues that the EU does with many different nations, many different policies. Many different. We're all under the same group. We also don't have the Ukraine situation. We don't have an issue with getting natural gas or regular gas. Our biggest problem is kind of supply chain for things. So I think we will have the next bigger raise as well. I think we will continue that process for a bit. And again, with the pound having the problems that it has, I am kind of looking into the future right now as the dollar yen as being what the carry trade will be. Again, that muddles the waters a little bit, makes it a little bit more difficult to trade because it's like a proxy and it does all kinds of other things as well. But right now with the euro, I think dollar strength is coming back in. Euro dollar for me, you're looking for short entries, and I think 97.06 is probably, or 97.04 is probably where it's at. Now, euro pound. Obviously, look at this. We had a monstrous move up, and now we're lower than where we were. And again, you could run fibs. Whoops. You could run fibs on this one, but it really doesn't matter. And we're about to hit the 78 right now. It was just too much of a move too quickly. And again, this is just showing you really people are not enjoying what the pound has to offer right now. Let's see. We did have this base, and that's probably what I yanked off by mistake. Problem is, you can see this is all like little candles, right? This is all little candles. And then all of a sudden you have monstrous things like this. So, really, let's see. Let's pull. I don't need that zone anymore. This zone is still probably good. We can run this one up, but I don't really. It doesn't really pertain to much right now. Looks like it had a little. Actually, it missed the 50, but it had a little bit of a pop off the 50 there. Let's say there's still a short there. It's very wicky on this one. And this is what I'm talking about. You guys see, this is the ATR here. Do you see how the ATR is typically down here? You see how low it is typically? And then magically now, it's all the way up top. It's like double what it was before. So it's probably going to slow back down again. I'd kind of like to see this grind down, break through 88.04 and back down to 87.50. Got a little bit of room to run on that one. We're at 89.14 right now, so it's got about 100 pips to go. That's a lot. And again, it doesn't look like that much on the chart, but that's only because you have a single candle like this. It's 250 pips, and the standard 30-minute ATR is about 15. So yeah, a little bit craziness, right? I think this continues to go down just because I think the UK has to raise more. But I also feel like this new lady, I don't think she's going to last as long as Boris did. I think as they're entering, I think Boris was smart, right? He got Brexit done. Saw the writing on the wall, got out, handed a mess over to her, and I think she's only going to make it even worse. So, yeah, I would say I like this one, but right now, too much chop. High wick on a 30-minute. Not interested. These wicks are bigger than what the ATR is in general, so a little bit more dangerous, right? Euro yen. All right, so Euro yen. We talked about an area. We weren't interested in taking it for a long, really, but it got smashed around. It got hit again, hit again, hit again, hit again, hit again. It did break because of kind of the quote flash crash. And right now, we're really kind of in that same level. I think right now, the next level we really look for is up top. And again, it's spent a lot of time up here. I'd like to see if this continues forward. It looks very much like the Aussie yen, where it needed to go just a little bit farther, right? A little bit farther and then a rollover. Euro yen's kind of in a similar scenario. If it goes up just a little bit higher, it is a level that it's spent some time there. It has been front run. But I think depending on, what time we hit that, it looks very similar to the Aussie yen. So it's kind of the same trade, just using the euro instead of the Aussie is the only difference between those two. So kind of similar. It doesn't match up with any fibs or anything. As you can see, the last high to low, it's not far from the 50, but not close enough to where you're going to trigger sell orders. So if you're looking for an entry on that one, you're looking for, I don't know, approximately, it's right at the 140 mark. Look at that. How rare is it that I can click and it's all zeros? I normally am adjusting it. I think 140 is probably where we look for this one, and then look for selling to step in. We saw it there last time. We've got some front running off of it, and being a big psychological number with a whole bunch of zeros, kind of screaming where that's a short coming in, and it matches up for what we're seeing with the Aussie yen. So again, not bad, right? Not bad opportunity. Pound dollar. All right, so pound dollar, yes, historic lows. Kind of crazy. I'm not used to seeing it this low. It's like, wow, we were like almost parity, like. If you guys are on the channel, you know how excited I got for parity with, the euro dollar. Parity with the pound is like even crazier, right? It's even crazier. Jack was like, yeah, I should go to London soon. I'm like, yeah, it's cheap, but everything in Europe is cheap, right? And things like Ireland, right? Ireland was always cheap to go to, but now it's even better. If you guys want to get your drink on, there's some good opportunity. But it's all cheap now. This is the fun part about being an American when the rest of the world is, collapsing, because we can, our situation, we can handle inflation a little bit better. But yeah, it's awesome. So right now, there's some levels. There's a little tiny level right here. You can see right around the 50. It's probably the best opportunity for this one. You can see that it's having some problems, and there are some selling in there. But I think 110.50 is probably where we look for this to turn. And again, you can see that this is not a new trend. It's been coming down for a while. And right now, it's still negative from where we closed, but this morning from its low down here at 11 o'clock last night, this one has moved up 580 pips. Like right now, it's 460. So it's kind of hard to say that you should be short, really, because it's gone up 500 pips, like in the last, 12 hours. Like, sure. Yeah, it is what it is. But there will be a top, and I do expect it to roll back down. I'd appreciate it if it could get up here better. It looks like it's already starting to do it. We got, We got 23 minutes to go. But look, you got a red, a decent green, and it's starting to signal that, hey, listen, no, it's going to be a change. So yeah, it's already starting to show us that it's looking like it's going to turn and roll, right? So yeah, yeah. And how much risk is that even? Yeah, it's 100 pips. Not taking one of those. So yeah, again, just like I said with the euro dollar, it's easy to show have dollar weakness in there when the U.S. trader's not online. When the U.S. trader's online, it tends to be more biased towards some dollar strength, and that's kind of what we're seeing roll back in again. So ideally, I'd love it to come up to 110.50. I don't know if it's going to do that. It's already starting to show us here with a color change reversal, and again, it's not. You can't say that it's not going off of a level because it did, right? It did go off of a little level, and again, off of a level, color change confirmation. That's a short. That's a short. I don't know. Let's see. What are fib guys looking at this morning? Yeah, I mean, they're technically past. I mean, it's a mirror bottom. I don't really like the mirror bottom. 61's nothing. Yeah. I don't know. I'd love to say, yeah, just wait. Just wait. No problem, guys. It's definitely coming up to here. I just feel like it's probably going to leave without us. I mean, again, it was a legitimate zone. It was a drop, a pullback, right? An impulse of correction, and then it dropped down and it based and then didn't make it back up. It failed. So there's definitely sellers here. I mean, it was a legitimate level. But for right now, it's kind of a little bit too late, right, to be able to get in. So, yeah, a little bit harder to play. Pound yen. It's funny. Look at that. It looks almost the exact same. Look at the candles, right? Almost exactly the same. And again, also hit a level. We're having some problems right now. Again, the trade from last week was out here. That target got cranked. Leave this one appear as a potential again. We already know that that's a prior trade. And you can see this one also has a little bit of a hiccup, which actually was an old level. And it just happened to be that it traced it fine. There could be a front run opportunity, right? Whoops. Could be a front run opportunity at 157 or 158. So close. We'll just bring up the 158. Right. But right now it kind of looks the same, right? It color change wise, the green did go above the red, so it is not it is not a candidate for that. But right now, I'd say that it does look like it wants to continue to fall. And again, this is the yen coming back into it as well. Probably more. This is probably more influence from the pound dollar than is the yen, but I wouldn't be surprised if the yen's starting to help out a little bit too. So, yeah, it's one of those ones that a tiny area with a change, and it's Monday. So again, Monday makes it a little bit weird. So, not sure we're gonna get into that one. All right, so the CAD. So we have had some developments in the CAD. So last week we talked about a level, and we were looking for the correct confirmation here. And again, just drew a Harry Potter out here to see it. So since that time, we were sitting right here. Love what has happened since that time. Okay, so we hit it at 12, we hit it at 4, and then all of a sudden over the weekend we hit it again, and then we hit it again. Loving the fact that now we've hit it 4 times since we talked on Friday. Okay, that's what we're looking for. As I said, we don't trade with a crystal ball. We trade with an if this, then that mentality. We've been looking for this pattern to come in, and the fact that it's hit it and hit it again and hit again and hit again, they're clearing the path of all the buyers here for us. So instead of just trying to guess like when it's going to go through or just take it, right? We're waiting for it to kind of give us, I have to have A, B, and C to get into, to go, right? We got everything we like. So I do think that there is probably a short coming up pretty soon. The next time it comes down, I don't know when it's going to come down because remember, it's if this, then that. The 1 to 3 is sitting right there, which again, I think is pretty decent. This is where the test was. It's right at the bottom. Good to go with that. As I said, don't know when it's going to go through, but I do know that it's got everything else besides the prices there right now. And it looks something along these lines, and this is one of those ones that I would throw an alert on. And again, not that the bot is working right now. Let's see. Not that the bot is working. I hope that it gets re-enabled soon. Just what and it drives me nuts about that too, guys. I just gotten all the kinks worked out of it. I'm like, yep, it's all coming through. It's all coming through. It's all coming through. And then the stupid U.S. decides to block all payments from Russia. It's like, oh, it's like, really? Like, why does the programmer have to be Russian, right? Why does he have to pay for Russian? Like, why does he have to pay for the hosting in Russian currency? It's like, yeah. Because a mid-20s, programmer, yeah, that's the cause of all, all the Russian aggression is the mid-20s programmer that likes trading and creates bots for TradingView. Yep, it's him. It's all him. He's the guy that needs to be penalized. Yeah. Just another one of those things. Anyway, 135.51, 134.90, and again, you could round these up if you really wanted to. You could just bring this up to 135. It'll be a psychological number. Should get sucked down into it. At the same time, this one is so close. You could bring this one up to 60, 135.60. Looking for a breakthrough. Okay. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss, we ended up tagging those two little profit targets. We mentioned that, hey, listen, those are buyers are. They hit it. So we can pull this level off. We did actually creep up a little bit higher, as we should have. I mean, we hit it here, we hit it here, and then hit it again. There's your 3 hits right there. Four actually survived, and then it started basing, and they're like, yeah, it's going to break. And it did. It snuck its head out at 2 o'clock this morning. Europeans stepped in at 3 o'clock and sent it straight up, and now we're seeing a reversal back down again. So, obviously the level did what it did. So I think right now, again, we know we have a big Harry Potter based trade here, right? We got this level right here, which again, we may have a little bit of a problem chunking through, but we do have a big run back to the downside here, which I think is good. Right now, the 23 is sitting in an area with a lot of congestion. I'd be a bit more cautious, and you may say, well, that should be good. Look, it popped here. It did. You're right. It absolutely did, but it did it here. It did it, and this is that old level. Did it here. It did it here. It did it here. It did it here. It did it here. So it's been kind of smashing through that level. I don't necessarily like it for long, just for the fact that, again, they've really eaten this one up a lot, right? I mean, here, they pushed it to the brink. They hit it again. They hit it lower. Is there buyers there? Probably a few, but is it enough that it's really compel us to, to parity with this one? I don't know. And as far as taking a Harry Potter, because, again, this is what we like. We like when it smashes through a level, boom, 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 boom. There's a level sitting right here. And a level here that, this is a decent level. If this shot right down, I'd be looking to take this one long. But I think this one is important because there's a potential long on the top side. I think there's a potential long on the top side, and I think there's a potential short on the downside of that level. Okay, so I think there's both in here. Again, I love this, a one candle pullback with ascending wicks and a nice launch out. I love that. That's great. And it's also, in close enough proximity. I mean, we move it just a little bit. That 50 all of a sudden is grazing just along the side of it as well. So I like that. I like the short because, again, this is a racetrack trade. This is what we're looking for. There's no buyers in there until all the way down at this level. We know that any type of short position in here, this is where buyers are stepping in, right? That's where buyers are stepping in. So some good opportunity with this one. I know. Get off my lawn. I know, right, Neuro? Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Particularly in currencies. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I mean, like, there are so many Russian programmers, it's unbelievable, particularly in trading, right? I don't know if it's just the way that they think or just because access, but a lot of programmers are Russian. I don't know if, maybe they value technology that much, but there are a lot of really, really great, and I've met them through the years. I've met some really great guys that have had some ingenious stuff and been very, very talented. All Russian guys, or Russian kids. I'll say Russian kids because, they were, I don't know. Can you call a 25-year-old, an adult yet? I don't know. I feel like no, right? But extremely talented. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, again, we're seeing a lot of, dollar strength, Swiss weakness on this one. Again, the war thing is kind of fizzling out right now, so the Swiss is losing a lot of its oomph right now. I don't know. Right now, there is a new top put in. Again, this one has a lot of drawings on it, but that's a decent top. That's the tops that we like to see. If we pull back to it and kind of have a fair to go higher at that point, yes, this could be a potential short as well. And that one, I'd be comfortable taking it back down in the 23.6 range. You would be able to fit a 1 to 3 in there as well. So a couple different things on the Swiss. And again, you should know the Swiss. If you're trading it, it should be one of those ones that you kind of keep track of as well. What else can they do in Russia? I don't know. Drink, make vodka. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things, right? I'm not opposed to either of those, though, right? All right, so here was a Sunday night gap trade. And again, I updated it accordingly. I caught it a little bit too late to publish it last night, so I was like, you know what, I'll just do it in the morning. It was already like over in here. I was like, too late. Again, it pulled back into an area where the gap was, which happened to be an old 50%. Again, the 50%, it fought hard, right? Bam, bam, bam. I mean, there's your 3 hits right there, basing in there. You're like, it's breaking. It's Harry Potter time, baby. Harry Potter time. And that's what happened. What did it do? It gapped in the direction of the trend and then pulled back and used the gap and took off, and the 1 to 3 is out. So trade is done. There's nothing I can say about it right now. I think this one probably continues to push up to 145. Again, that is a 78. Don't care about it. There's no sellers over there. Not really interested in any type of a short. And again, we know what's up top here, the 145.57. So, again, this trade just finished 7 o'clock this morning from yesterday afternoon, okay? And a nice little pullback. And I don't think the risk wasn't horrible in this one. I mean, it was a 90-pip runner. So, considering what we had and where the gap was, not bad. And it gave us all the signs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 started the base. You're like, yep, that's where we're going. And we're looking for the pullback, the base, and the go, but it just gapped up. So this one threw a couple different pieces in there. Gotta love when it happens. Cryptos, obviously quite bouncy. They are at levels where we are seeing sellers. And again, I'm just bringing this up, not to talk you guys into trading currency or cryptos, but Powell is speaking tomorrow morning about digital dollar. If you're getting a 3%, if you have a digital dollar, right? Because again, remember, all digital is good, right? Analog bad, digital good. If you can make 4% by holding a digital dollar, that's a lot better than the 0% that you're getting for holding a Bitcoin. So yeah, that not necessarily the best. So again, be cautious with these. Ethereum also popping, but you can see it's got the same levels of sellers up top. And then again, Dogecoin, it's above 6. It's above 6, but again, great rise last week, and now it's kind of doing. And again, this is one of those like little fancy drawings. Wait, where is it? It's this one, right? Yeah. Right. Kind of one of those things. And I do think that these all go lower. Let's look at oil. All right. So oil, we talked about a buying opportunity at 78.43. Now, this is obviously late last night. Again, we're not typically trading the oil market. It's for me, yes, you can trade it. It is a futures contract. It does trade 24 hours a day. And, again, obviously there's a lot of people overseas. But I really feel like the oil market is really just dominated by the U.S. futures market. Some of the greatest volume, things like that, they all tend to be in the U.S. session. Am I looking to take this one at midnight? No. Now, we hit it last week, and again, it was around noon. And remember, this market closes early. There was a long. It did bounce off that level, but again, there wasn't really enough time to really trade it. You're not holding this one over the weekend, right? So, unfortunately, it is higher now. Like if you would said, when Nadex opened, you could have said, hey, I'm going to go long, and it's a buying area in a larger time frame. You could have taken it. And you would be profitable right now. You may be actually out of your trade already. From 78.43 all the way up to 80. I mean, you're what did it go to 80.35? Almost $2 move. You could have grabbed something. You could have done this on more of a smaller time frame. Said, hey, listen, the overnight when the Europeans stepped into this market right here at 3 o'clock. Right? So this was an old level. We knew it was there. We bounced off of it. There's your European base. And what happened when the U.S. trader stepped in? Boom. So, again, this is one of those kind of weekend casualties. It's like, yes, we were 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So you can see we're past the 1 to 3 at this point. Right? It's one of those markets that you really want to kind of trade it when there's players in the game, right? 11:30 Sunday night is not really one of those times. So unfortunately, this was too close on a Friday. It kind of went down. It hit the zone. It did go up. Hedge held it. you'd technically still be positive from where we were last week. So, crypto winter could come to an end. All the Fed has to do is nothing. Yeah, true, Nero. No, I think it really gets harder and harder. Like I said, there are just a number of factors on a global spectrum. Remember, the cryptos came out because they're like, no, we don't like the central bank system. Great. So if we all switch to cryptocurrencies and inflation is out of control, how exactly do you handle the inflation? The answer is you can't. As well as everybody liked the anonymity of crypto. It's like, yeah, it's my money. I don't want them spying on me, right? Uncle Sam doesn't need to know. Guess what? They can track every single transaction that occurs with it. And when it becomes regulated, they're going to track even more. So a lot of the cool things of why it was so great in the beginning, kind of gone, right? All those people that were buying it at 65,000, 68,000 were like, it's going to 100. They're rather quiet right now, right? All the experts, I don't hear many of the experts now. They're very, very quiet right now. It's like, I wonder how many. It's like, all of them were bragging. It's like, oh, I've made, I put everything into this, right? I'm a billionaire. How much money did you lose when you were still holding it from 68 all the way down to 20, right? It's like, wow, how much money on paper did you lose, right? It wasn't real money, right? How much money did you lose? Anyway, so oil, again, we just got out of a trade. There's not much else we can do with this one. We're at the 23.6 level right now. And again, oil's very technically traded. This is on a kind of a bigger spectrum. Problem is, again, there's a lot of levels. You could use this one to get one. But if you take the high to low, the most recent high to low, right? Because again, this was in an uptrend again, and then we started the downtrend. If you take the most recent swing high and low, again, we are at a 23.6 right now. So you will get some artificial selling, as well as we just hit 1 to 3. So it's an area where people should be turning around and selling it. I think the level up here, again, this is it's a Harry Potter trade. It broke a level, came back, touched it, and went. Again, if you draw it off, there are levels up here, I think, around this 81.27. You got to watch out for it. I would say right now, a little bit farther of a push. It looks very much like the Aussie and Euro yen. Look for a turn, switch, and roll back to the downside. So it's all there. But again, we just finished up a trade. There's not much we can do with it right now. Now, natural gas is low, and here's the reason why. Okay. So natural gas is continuing to glow. There was not an area. We can adjust this down again. So they were talking about this morning. Right now, and again, this is in kind of some of the mentions that we heard. Right now, okay, the EU said that, as far as winter natural gas storage goes, they think that they have it under control. They think they're good, right? But what they're basing it off of is a 10-year average. Okay. So right now, all the headlines are great. We're not going to run out of, we're not going to run out of gas. We're not going to run out of oil. We've been able to, the stockpiles are going good. We're on track to be at 90. We're at 90% of what their winter storage is. And that storage is based off of a normal winter. There has already been forecast that is going to be a colder than normal European winter, which would put it past. So, but right now they're saying, hey, listen, based off a 10-year average, because again, people like averages a whole lot, it looks like the EU will be okay. Okay, there'll be pockets, I'm sure, that have some issues, but right now it looks like they are good with that 10 because of the 10-year average. Now, the problem is, again, we have also had some unusually warm winters the last couple years where we just really didn't get a lot of snow, that kind of stuff in the Northern Hemisphere. So yeah, there's that. They were already forecasting that this was going to be a colder one, right, just based off of weather patterns. And again, I don't know how they predicted out 6 months in advance, but either way. And it's kind of like the polls, right? How many polls have been wrong lately, right? Where it's like, oh, well, this is what the average, this is what people think, and they're completely wrong and they're blindsided. So I still think there's a huge risk that they're not going to have enough. Again, they're trying to calm this market. And again, think about it. What's the benefit of saying, hey, listen, we think we're good. We're not going to run out of gas. There's not going to be this big run. That helps bring this down so they can actually buy more of it. Right, because there's only so much money. They can only buy so much. When it's at $10, they can buy a whole lot less than it is $6.65. So right now, it's looking like the numbers are tracking in a good way. Okay, which again, lowering the panic lowers the price. Okay, whether it's real, not real, I happen to think it's a whole lot less real than it is real, just because again, saying that all is good, all is good. You know, I mean, again, the Titanic, they weren't telling people everybody's going to die, right? We got this. The lifeboats are there. You're good. Just get in, right? You know, life is wonderful. You know, the band is still playing on the deck, and all the rich people are jumping into the boats, right? And poor Jack, you know, poor Jack wasn't allowed on the bed frame, you know. Or what was it? It was a door, right? Or like a piano lid or something like that. I forget. What I think it was a headboard, right? Wasn't Jack on it? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, they've already proven Jack would have fit on the headboard and would have been just fine. But no, wouldn't have made a good story. So right now, I think natural gas is you got to continue being bearish. I still don't necessarily want to take. I still wouldn't say get on a big short. I still think Russia can mess this one up in a number of different ways. But right now, because they've been able to stockpile things and paying, and remember, they're still paying Russia for it at higher prices. So Russia's like, you want to keep paying these prices? Go ahead. Russia's getting everything they want. Now they're talking about not putting price caps till longer and everything else. You know, so Russia's okay that they're stockpiling it. So it's still all good for them. So I think price is bearish, but I'd be cautious because I still think there could be an immediate geopolitical event popping. And all the other commodities are great except this one. So, yeah. Gold. So, gold, we talked about down. It didn't come all the way down to our target. And again, boo on gold. We wanted 16.18. It came down to 16.26, missed it by $8. As you can see, we did pull back and we're running into some solid coming in. So we did have some pressure there. We are pulling back right now. And again, if you do the complete high to low, it is kind of flirting with that 23.6 level. I think gold is very, very hard to be able to, you know, get long with. I do think for a little while people were getting excited and they were like, well, maybe they're not going to raise as much. Man, even I think gold is in trouble because of this. Right now, the month-over-month core peak, we just raised 0.75 last month, and the core, right? The core. Remember, the core is the big one, right? This is removing food and energy, which were the culprits forever, right? Removing food and energy, up 0.5. We just raised 0.75, right? We've had a couple 0.75s, and it's still going higher, and it's expanding faster than it was last time at 0.1. Yeah, that's not necessarily a great sign. It shows that inflation is still happening, but remember, that means that there's even more demand and desire to do it. If they had done a 0.5 and said, it's not a big deal, a 0.5 is a bullish sign for gold. 0.75, not. And what's seeing, and again, remember, core PCE, that's their preferred look at if inflation, whether it's working. This shows that it's not working. They need to keep their foot on the gas pedal. So, yeah. These pullbacks, I think, provide great opportunities. There's a couple levels in here. Again, there's a small one with the 23. This is an old level. And again, 1, 2, and you could say this is one hit or two hits, even if it doesn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sliced through it, pulled back up to that level, and boom, short all the way down. It just didn't go all the way to our target. So we're pulling back up. I do think there's probably a short in here. Look for it to turn and continue to roll. Okay. Silver. High-oil silver's up a little bit. We were looking, and again, we drew some where targets were going to be. It came across. Looks like it went down, and it did tag that 61.8. Let's pull this across just so you guys can see it. It looks like it did bounce off the 61.8, and there's a small level there. You can see right here. There's some chopping. Nothing I really wanted to draw on it. Let's take this off. Let's take this off. And right now, let's see. And again, 1, 2, 3. We broke through it. They'll need it. Hit the bottom of it. Went through it. Let's draw for silver a top to bottom from here down. I'd say watch this level right here, 1921. I'm not going to draw a level off of it, but there's a small level right there that now the people will see this and say, oh, look, it's a pivot point, and we need to sell it from there. So look for selling around 1920 in silver if you're looking to trade silver. And there's a small level right up there at the 61.8. So again, same thing. Look for silver to go up a little bit higher before turning and rolling. It's kind of the same story with gold. Again, everything mixed over here. Let's see an opening print. Opening print Mondays are always rough. It did go from 9. It pulled down. Here's your basing, right? There's your overnight basing. The reality is, yes, from its 9 o'clock to 9:30, it did push back to that zone. If you had drawn it this way and said, well, there's my pullback, then yes, you would have got entered. More of a realistic Monday morning is kind of like, there's your level of basing, and that's where it popped. It grazed it. It grazed it. So again, depending on which broker you use for this, you may or may not have got into it. If you did, again, I'll draw it like you did. Your 1 to 3 is right there. So you are officially out of the trade if you did put it there. But again, depending on how you drew it, and depending on your broker where they have their candles, you may or may have got in. This one was really, really close. But if you did get in, and again, I would say that there's your true base, and in this case, it did trigger. It's really, really close. I'm going to tell you right now, not every broker would this have been an entry on. So I'd love to tell you that it is, but I need to be transparent and honest. This would not have been, everybody would not have drawn this one the same way. But super, super close. But again, the principle is there. Your 1 to 3 is done. Okay. NQ. NQ also drove back, and it's kind of the same thing. There's your level of basing. And the reality is this one, no. You would not have gotten in. The red candle, the 915, did not tag it. It was super close. The green one, also not the same. If I bring it back to there, I mean, it needs to be off the green candle here. But if I did it off the red one, maybe the bid-ask spread probably would have still stopped you. And again, the 930 candle wouldn't work. So same thinking. And again, if you're using something like an ADEX where it pulled back, and you're like, no, I'm going to go long. I don't need to be dead on because that's an ADEX. I just need to be close. Options, it needs to be close. Yes, this one would have worked as well. And again, coming from that level, a 1 to 3 looks like approximately there, right? So actually, hold on. 1 to 3 is right there. So again, it would have went past, but I don't think it would have got entry. It would have really depended on your broker, and it would have depended if you were taking this with an options product. Just kind of an FYI, guys. Again, remember, there are other options out there besides NADEX, right? You could have taken this one if you wanted to do weeklies. You could have done SPY options on a weekly basis, got in at the money, taken it off when you doubled, and you would have been just fine. Okay? So, yeah, there's plenty of ways to trade that one. In reality, I mean, yeah, that would probably have been a much better way to trade than NX. YM. So YM, let's see. The 930 is there. It did the pullback, but on this one, I would have to say that, listen, your zone's down here. There's your test off the zone. And again, no entry. So, and you can see that it's turning up top, right? There's your top of the line. We've already tagged it a few times, and it's starting to roll. So, yeah, YM definitely would not have. Again, the first two, ES was your best opportunity. NQ would have been close. YM, I would have said no. No. This one, I don't think anybody should have gotten this one no matter what. And let's see Russell. Russell, yeah, it had the pullback, but kind of the same thinking. We knew that we had a level down here. We had this one marked off the 1676. I would have said, I mean, really kind of there's your basing lower. I mean, I guess there was a lower, I mean, there's kind of a base right here as well. I mean, I guess if you took that one, 915, and pushed it back in, there's the most recent base. Yeah, but I would have said no on this one just because of this side, right? So kind of a harder scenario. So, like I said, I think realistically today, there could be an argument made that you were either 1 for 4 or 2 for 4 as far as entries go. If you did enter any of them, whether it be 1, 2, 3, or 4, you were 100% on every single one of them. They all did go beyond where they needed to go. It was just whether or not you got the pullback in the entry. So, again, Mondays are always weird, especially after, again, having this always makes Monday morning interesting. All right. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and do the drawing. We're a couple minutes past. Melissa wanted me off at 8:30 or at 10:30. Obviously, I am in the doghouse because it's 6 minutes past. Debbie won last week. Debbie won on Friday, so Debbie's going for 100. Everybody else is going for 25. All right. Let's see here. Who's in? We got Neuro. Ernest is sleeping again. Ernest is over here talking trash, but he's not even in the running today. So he must not have his hacks live. I'll give Ernest 10 seconds longer because if I don't, I'll hear about it later, right? Ernest may be at school with his kids again. Maybe. All right, looks like Ernest is sleeping. So, is he in? Maybe he's in. Maybe I know it only has so many people. 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. There he is. See, if I don't do that, Ernest will get angry. And Ernest comes in with 5. He's like, I'm gonna mess this all up. Watch this. I'm gonna mess it all up. I give the guy help, and what does he do? Bam! He comes in with a truck. Yeah. All right. Winner of today's drawing is. Ooh, she takes it. Look at that. Go Debbie. Debbie did have 3. In Debbie's defense, she did have 3 in today. Debbie never deviates from the 1. So again, I do feel that she forced her, her hand was forced today, but she went in early, and Ernest saw that. And again, she beat Ernest at Neuro today. So go Debbie. Good on you. That's 2. That means Debbie's going for 250 tomorrow. Debbie's going to go for a trifecta. Trifecta on Tuesday. The Tuesday trifecta, right? Kind of makes sense. Double T, right? The Tuesday trifecta. With that said, I'm out of here. Again, make sure tomorrow morning you guys are careful. We got, some decent data. Powell speaking could screw the dollar up. 830 core durable goods, again, going in the wrong direction. And then, again, Bullard speaking at 950. So we got bam, 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 all in a row right after it. So see you guys tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully there's no more, crazy sound settings changing. So with that said, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for joining, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.